Ted Bundy's story is one of the most chilling and notorious in the history of American crime. His charm, intelligence, and ability to blend in with society made him a master manipulator, and his horrific crimes left a trail of victims, many of whom were never found. Bundy's killing spree, spanning several years and multiple states, has made his case a haunting example of the dangers of underestimating the capacity for evil in people who seem outwardly normal. Born on November 24, 1946, in Burlington, Vermont, Theodore Robert Bundy grew up in a tumultuous family environment. His mother, Eleanor Louise Cowell, gave birth to him when she was just 22, and for much of his childhood, Bundy was raised by his maternal grandparents. His mother claimed that Bundy's father was unknown, and it wasn't until Bundy was a teenager that he learned that his mother had been his sister in a twisted family dynamic. This secret would come to define his early life and, according to many psychologists, shaped his warped sense of identity and the psychological trauma he would later carry into adulthood. From an early age, Bundy displayed an unsettling fascination with violence. He reportedly enjoyed reading about crime and murder, and he would later admit to fantasizing about violent acts. However, Bundy appeared to lead a normal life on the surface. He excelled academically, graduated from high school, and went on to attend the University of Washington, where he studied psychology. While there, he became involved in a string of petty crimes, but it wasn't until he became a young adult that his murderous impulses began to manifest in deadly ways. In the early 1970s, a series of disappearances of young women began to alarm residents across several states in the Pacific Northwest. The women, often university students, were abducted in broad daylight, taken to isolated locations, assaulted, and murdered. The first confirmed case was that of 18-year-old Linda Mae Healy, who disappeared from her bedroom in Seattle in 1974. Healy's disappearance was the beginning of a chilling pattern that would later become all too familiar. Bundy, who at the time was still a student at the University of Washington, was quick to insert himself into the investigation. He offered his help to local police, appearing as a concerned citizen while hiding his dark secret. For several months, Bundy managed to evade suspicion, even as the body count continued to rise. In total, at least 30 women were murdered, though Bundy confessed to killing many more. His victims were typically young, white women with long, dark hair parted in the middle, a striking pattern that was later identified by investigators as a signature of his crimes. He would often approach them in public, feigning injury or asking for help with heavy objects, like crutches or a broken arm. Once he gained their trust, he would overpower them, abduct them, and drive them to remote locations where he would assault, murder, and sometimes sexually mutilate them. Afterward, he would often revisit the bodies, sometimes engaging in post-mortem activities that displayed his sadistic tendencies. Bundy's method of killing and his ability to appear so normal were what made him especially terrifying. He was described as charming, well-spoken, and intelligent, qualities that allowed him to blend into society, even as a killer. He worked with local political campaigns, and during his time in Utah, he attended law school, all while secretly indulging in his deadly urges. Bundy's ability to compartmentalize his life was astonishing. On the surface, he appeared to be a well-adjusted, ambitious young man, while underneath, he harbored a monster capable of unimaginable violence. As the years went on, the investigation into the murders became increasingly urgent. Bundy's criminal activities spread across several states, including Washington, Oregon, Utah, and Colorado, with a variety of law enforcement agencies involved. However, despite the mounting evidence and numerous eyewitness descriptions, Bundy continued to elude capture. His ability to stay one step ahead of the police was a testament to his intelligence and ruthlessness. It wasn't until August 1975, when Bundy was pulled over during a routine traffic stop in Utah, that his reign of terror began to come to an end. A police officer, Officer Bob Hayward, had observed Bundy's suspicious behavior and stopped him. Upon searching Bundy's car, he discovered burglary tools, which led to his arrest. However, it wasn't until further investigation that Bundy's involvement in the murders was confirmed. Police found evidence linking him to several of the victims, including fibers matching those found in his car and items belonging to the victims. Bundy's capture, however, was far from the end of his crimes. He managed to escape from custody twice. The first escape, in 1977, was during a period when he was being held in a Colorado jail awaiting trial. He had grown so proficient in manipulating his surroundings that he was able to sneak out of his cell, climb through a hole in the ceiling, and escape into the wilderness. Bundy's brief time on the run included a second spree of murders in Florida, where he attacked several women, most notably at Florida State University's Chi Omega sorority house. The brutal nature of these attacks marked a new level of violence for Bundy, who had previously kept a lower profile. In 1978, after another escape and a bloody killing spree in Florida, Bundy was finally captured for good. He was later convicted of the murders of two sorority sisters, Margaret Bowman and Lisa Levy, and several others. He was also linked to the disappearance and murder of Kimberly Leach, a 12-year-old girl. Bundy's trial was a media sensation, and he represented himself in court, using his legal knowledge to manipulate the proceedings and prolong the case. Throughout the trial, Bundy remained calm and collected, giving little away about his true nature, except when he confessed to a psychologist that he had committed at least 30 murders. Bundy's trial, which began in 1979, ultimately resulted in a conviction. In 1980, he was sentenced to death. Over the next few years, Bundy's psychological state was analyzed, and many experts speculated about the nature of his violent tendencies. He was diagnosed with antisocial personality disorder, but some experts believed that Bundy's crimes were not just the result of a personality disorder, but of deeper, more ingrained psychological issues. Before his execution, Bundy was interviewed extensively by the media, and he began to open up about his crimes, admitting to the murders of more than 30 women. His confessions were chilling in their detail, and he revealed that he had often felt a compulsion to kill, driven by his desire for power and control. He expressed no remorse for his actions, and his final interviews were filled with cold, matter-of-fact descriptions of his crimes. Ted Bundy was executed by electric chair at Florida State Prison on January 24, 1989. His death marked the end of one of the most terrifying killing sprees in modern history. Bundy's ability to blend into society, his manipulation of the justice system, and the horrifying nature of his crimes have made him an enduring figure in the world of true crime. Even after his death, Ted Bundy remains one of the most notorious serial killers in American history. His case serves as a stark reminder of the dangers posed by individuals who appear outwardly normal but are capable of unspeakable acts. The full extent of his crimes may never be known, but the legacy of his brutality endures, leaving behind a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of even the most charming and intelligent individuals.